we interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry about the delay. Had some technical difficulties. I guess that's what happens when you use a 10-year-old computer as your studio station. But we do what we can with what we got, and we're here. Better late than never. But welcome to Friday night. Welcome to Vikings Uncensored. We've got good crew going in the chat already. It looks like Norris is here, Ant is here, Drew's here, Doc's here.
Oh, got a lot of them here. I think I've seen Chevy here too. I think I seen all you guys alluded to me smoking before the show.
Dan Hanneman's here. Riley's here.
Plenty of people here this week. Yeah,
the gang is
all the
here.
OGs. All the OGs for sure. Yep. What did you say before the show? We're kind of raw dogging it this week, Rhino. Are we kind of coming in a little bit ill prepared this week?
Yeah, it was a busy day today. I was working on my car half the freaking day, and
I love just winging the shows. I love this. Nobody else wings their podcast like we wing ours.
Yeah, not technical difficulties, Norris. Not testicle difficulties.
Those are horrible though. Sometimes.
Yeah. If it lasts for more than 4 hours, please consult a physician. But
right. I love the comments. That's why I love this show. You guys are truly what keeps the engine running here at Vikings Uncensored.
No kidding. We know it sure as hell isn't my computer. So,
well, and we sure as hell know it isn't this team that we're fielding this year either.
Yeah.
Granted, outside of last week, we played some good ball. Speaking of which,
we did. I mean, that last week was what I have expected to see from the better part of the season. You know, a good running game and.
It's about 4 times this year that we've said that at all. And well, I guess we got 5 wins. So I mean that makes sense, right? Yeah. When we win, it's the team we expect to see, and then when we lose, it's just it. We one Sunday we'll come in and we'll play dominant football, and the next Sunday we'll come in and we'll shit the bed. We don't know what version of the purple and gold we're going to get to on a week in and week out basis.
Well, that's just it.
It's so cold the internet froze.
Yeah, the fake. Please talk about the fake VU first and the Burrow. Yeah, okay, we'll hit that. Apparently, there was another show that decided they were going to be Vikings Uncensored, and Mr.
Maybe if it was our first year, Rhino, we could have a little bit of dialogue there. But I mean, we're 5 years in. We got our following. We just. We can't be happy.
And the guy was cool about it. He, good. I emailed him and said, we've been doing this for 5 years. Please come up with a different name. And he's like, apologize and all that other stuff. So
maybe we'll have to have him on the show sometime. Maybe we'll have to have him on the show sometime.
He invited us to come on their show at some point in time too. So
that's something we should start doing right now, is having guests on a more consistent basis. Even some of these wonderful viewers that we have in the chat get that third seat every once in a while.
Yeah, and we used to do a little bit more of that, and it's been a year. I mean,
it really has been a trying year for us here at VU, and I believe every other podcast out there following this team is probably in the same boat.
Yeah.
So,
but it's there's to Ryan's second point there. we'll have the press conference. There's a lot of stuff going on both on and off the field, and you got to love what you're doing or why do it kind of thing. And
Well, that's kind of what you sign up for, especially when you're following a sports team or whatnot, something like that. So
mm-hmm. Ryan's going to be our on-field reporter. That'll work.
what really, we're not making the playoffs this year. I mean, there's that that huge mountain of things to climb to get to the playoffs, and we're not going to tackle that because it's a huge
No,
mountain.
I don't. I mean,
But what I'm getting at here, Rhino, is to go out with a bang and play spoiler and win as many of the last 4 games that you can. Be nice to go out to end the season at 4-0, and then you really have some things that you got to start talking about in the off season.
yeah, and and even the wins and losses at this point in time aren't necessarily that important. I mean, yes, we always want to win. I'm not going to cheer for the team to lose.
No,
The,
no,
the biggest
and these
thing is
players
showing,
aren't going to play the tank either.
no, and the biggest thing is for McCarthy to keep build off what he did last week against the Commanders and
Well,
show
that's
that
just
he.
it. We got what we wanted last week. We both said this. We want to see development out of
Mm-hmm.
McCarthy, and we got that, I believe, in that Washington game, and he looked pretty damn good. I mean,
Yeah.
in all aspects.
Filipino fan club in the house. Good morning, Nympha.
Isn't that funny though? How once your coach says not to worry about anything and just to go out there and play ball, and then you go out there and you have probably what was your best game statistically as far as completion
Well,
percentage goes on the year and touchdowns. Well, I love the clean
no
game too.
no turnovers. That was the
The
big
clean
thing
game,
right
and
there.
even penalty wise, played pretty
Yeah,
clean.
it was pretty clean game. So I mean, it was a good start, but now we have to build off of that. We can't, like you just said, we can't come out and play really good ball last week and come out and shit the bed tomorrow or Sunday night against the Cowboys. But
And you know what? Is it really that big of a surprise now that when you go back and you kind of look at things, that maybe it was going to take a year or so for this team to start clicking under a rookie? Basically, what is a rookie quarterback?
well, and we've talked about
And
Kevin O'Connell's play calling for most of the year here.
amongst
And
the other adversities as well.
right.
I guess got to throw that out there too.
Right. But, and then you look at, but though, again, this week, you could tell it just pained Kevin O'Connell to no end to call that offense last week.
It was a hell of a game plan though on his part.
It was.
Yeah, it might have pained him, but he better get used to liking that type of game. Because that's the system that needs to be ran right now.
But
And
that's the thing. It's like, okay, it shouldn't matter. Okay, I don't care about your perfect system or your cock ass offense or whatever you want to call it.
Well, the thing is the offense should have been like this to week 1.
Right, but that's the thing. It's don't go out with that constipated fucking look on your face and act. Basically start tearing up in your press conference because you had to call a game differently than how you envision it. It worked. Continue to do it.
And people are gonna, and you know what? You're gonna get the applause for it. So I don't know why it hurts him so much to call an offense like that, because in my eyes, he called a great game last weekend.
I'm giving him all the credit in the world for the game plan.
This is just it here, Drew. We've been asking for that, and yes, credit for the game plan, Moreno. But we've been asking for the heavy sets throughout the season, mixing those in and then getting passes out of those sets.
We actually threw a slant last week.
I remember you messaging me. Was that a quick slant I just seen?
It'd been so long since I've seen one, I wasn't sure. I mean,
and it went for a good game.
Yeah,
you have the receivers on this roster are meant for that type of route tree, and then you send one guy deep.
You don't have to run fly routes and nines and all that deep shit every time with those guys. Jefferson can work the short to intermediate part of the field. Jordan Addison, if Addison could catch the ball, he could do the same thing.
He had a better week last weekend too, I believe. Addison did. He had a couple there that he should have got, but I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. Well, but that was the thing with McCarthy. The misses, most of them were still pretty good on the accuracy.
And he had a hell of a game completion percentage wise. I think it was 67%.
Well, he had the third highest QBR in the league last week.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the first complete game we've seen from McCarthy. So that's
well, no, Detroit was pretty complete, but as far as clean game goes,
yeah.
That Detroit game was pretty good for McCarthy. I thought he played a hell of a game in that Detroit game. That was a big ask, and he went out there and answered the call.
Yeah, he did.
But it wasn't clean, right? It wasn't a clean game like this. This was his most complete game. You're right. As far as cleanliness goes and completion percentage goes, all that, yeah. Yes, it does. It does.
And that's the thing, Chevy, and thank you for bringing that up. You know, the 11 personnel thing, you know, the NFL is a cyclical league. Something works great for a while, and then defenses figure it out, and then you can't run it. It loses its effectiveness. Then they run a defense for a while. That loses its effectiveness, so they have to start around again. If Sean McVay can completely change his offense up and go a lot of 13 personnel, they've been running a ton of that this year.
It's all about sprinkling things in, sprinkling a little bit of everything in there.
Right, and that's the thing. And you know, the short yardage stuff last week, we ran the ball, I think, on every third and short.
How much would this 13? Yeah, go ahead.
We ran on every third and short, and I think we converted all but one of them.
Mm-hmm. How much would that 13th personnel come in handy earlier in the season when we should have been calling it?
Oh, a shit ton.
When our offensive line was depleted.
Yeah.
That 13 personnel would have been great back then. Well, you weren't seeing none of that, though.
No, but what did we talk about during training camp and preseason? We predicted Hawkinson was going to have a huge year because the tight end is a young quarterback's best friend. And if you watch Michigan, McCarthy hit the tight ends a ton. Colson Loveland was one of his top targets.
And then you got Ben Sims catching passes last week.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got Oliver going and getting 2 touchdowns. That's something we envisioned too earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver having one of his better seasons in the NFL as a pass catcher.
Yeah. Yeah, and as long as we use them, I mean, you know, I
mentioned it. I made a big post on Vikings Uncensored this week about this.
Yeah,
this in particular. I love Jeremiah Love. I think he's the best running back in the draft next year, and we have a shot.
Absolutely is. And I don't think there's much question about that.
And I love the attitude that he brings. He's got that menacing look for a running back, and I love it. You know,
well, and he's got pass catching ability, which, you know, works well in this offense. He doesn't pass block a lot, but
I think that could be brought along.
Yeah. No, I'm all in on he's, as it sits right now, he's one of my top targets for draft.
One of my favorite players out of next year's draft.
Yeah, we're still a long ways away from the draft. I don't want to get into that yet, but
yes, a good young running back would be great here in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
A playmaking running back.
Yeah,
I love me some Aaron Jones. I really love me some Jordan Mason, which someone who got more carries last weekend too. Right. But we need a fresh set of tires.
Yeah, and Jordan Mason is still your power back and your change of pace guy. If you did draft a Jeremiah Love, but I think Aaron Jones probably, you know, with his contract and stuff, I think he's probably ends up being a cap casualty next year. But
there's going to be 4 guys from this team that aren't going to be on this team, big names that aren't going to be on this team next season, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might be right on that, Riley. Brian, good evening. But I guess before we get in a little bit too deep, much deeper into this, I suppose we probably should address that elephant in the room. That
Geez, no wonder I'm not seeing the new comments. I'm fucking still at the top.
well, yeah, that would help if you.
Right.
Um,
Tracer in here tonight too. Nice seeing you.
yeah, Oliver's a good pass. Oliver is very underrated as a pass catcher. I mean, he was actually that was
He's
what he
been
was very good.
underutilized since he's been here. I mean, yes, everybody knows how great of a run blocker he is, but
Mm-hmm.
he's got that potential to be a pretty damn good receiving tight end.
Yeah. Yeah, Mason's not real good in pass pro. Riley, you're right. But that's right now. You've still got C.J. Ham out there. If you need a guy to be pass blocking in there, and if
CJ
you look
Ham
at
had a hell of a game last weekend. Just
you look at that not
that
that
alone.
98-yard drive, the second drive of the game, C.J. Ham saved that drive. Right there was almost a safety there to start things out, and Ham got a good block in there.
Best drive of McCarthy's season all year as well, right there. That
Best drive,
98-yard drive
best drive of
of
the
the season
Vikings.
period.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vikings haven't had a 98-yard drive. Well, they had that one last year, but it went one play.
dude, we had a few last year. No
Yeah,
lie, a few deep
but
drives.
the taking 12 minutes off the clock. I mean, that's huge.
That yeah, it has not happened in quite some time.
No, and that's the thing. Again, looking at the offense, that's how you win games with a young quarterback. You ball control it, you dink and dunk it, you keep the other team's offense off the field, keeps your defense off the field and keeps them fresh.
Keeps your quarterback cool and composed
Yeah.
and in rhythm. Another new name in here, Class G33. Hello. Yes.
He did
Yeah,
throw some
the
heaters,
bad
yeah.
Washington defense. Yeah, can't negate the
Mhm.
fact that he threw some heaters for sure.
Yeah.
I like the way he's throwing those out routes. You know,
Yeah. Well, and the talent is there. We know
and
it's
the
there.
happy feet though. The happy feet with JJ is what's once he can get calm
Yeah.
and see the entire field. It's going to be a hell of a
Well,
quarterback.
and O'Connell said something this week. I don't know if it was on the interview presser thing he had with Paul Allen or if it was something different, but he said that McCarthy a lot of the times has been out there. He's trying to anticipate what the defenders are going to be doing because part of this, when they talked about how he was watching all this film and stuff last year, and he's kind of sensory overloading himself the way it was sounding.
And you know what, Rhino? That makes complete sense because you could tell that that's the way he played in college.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on that throw against who was it, Ohio State, where he split the defenders for that touchdown, and when he was in college. That's one of those throws that that we're talking about right now. Those anticipatory throws, knowing what you think the defensive back is going to do, and then letting it rip.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get those holy shit plays.
But you can't.
That's what happens.
Yeah, and you can't do that so much in the NFL because,
especially when it's your first year, when you get to be like a Tom Brady and you're 8-9 years in the NFL, and that's how he goes about game planning his week because he knows what these guys. He knows the tendency of the defenses very well, or he knew them very well.
But when you're a young player like that, those wily defensive backs will bait you a lot, and
that's bingo, dart right there.
And that's what he's been doing. So, yeah, you're not wrong there.
Great point, Rye.
It's just he's got to just go out there and play free and do what he did last week. Take what the defense.
You know what I'm cooking up, Norse. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
See, they're always over here, but I probably look like an idiot, and they're always over there for you.
They're opposite of what you
I'm
think.
I'm pointing the fucking opposite way, but no, on my computer, I'm pointing right at it.
Yeah,
whatever.
Davy Chains, good evening. But we were going to talk about this to begin with, and I guess we might as well hit it now before we get into the other stuff here. But Of course, Vikings Twitter, social media, everything else has kind of erupted this week. If you guys saw, if you haven't seen it, you've probably been under a rock or in a spot without internet all week. But um, Joe Burrow's press conference on Monday, I believe it was, the basically he looked like somebody who was just spent.
He looks burnt out.
But he's talking about, you gotta, if you don't love playing the game, why are you even doing it? You gotta, and that's, you gotta consider this kind of stuff. And there's there's a lot of stuff going on, and the beat reporters were trying to push him on it. And it kind of, he was a guy that you could tell was just, look, depressed or whatever it was, I don't know. But then, of course, the internet erupts that Joe Burrow's going to want out of Cincinnati, and that the Vikings were.
Take this with a grain of salt, everybody, wherever it's at.
Yeah.
He's
Other
just
side, other way.
Whichever
See,
way
that's
it
where it's
is.
nice where I'm at. I can just point down because it's all below me.
Right.
So.
Right.
Another new name here, Neil's in the house. But yeah, so the Joe Burrow thing. I mean, I'm still a believer in McCarthy. I think he's going to be good. But if you can get Joe Burrow,
I know, man. I know. It's how typically Vikings this situation would become if Burrow actually became available.
yeah, I would assume that you're right on that, Drew. Now,
But
the only thing would be is if Burrow forces his way out and says, "Okay, I'm not coming back. I'm not playing here. You got to trade me."
I know. I listen. I know how much crap that ant gets every once in a while, and there is some truth to what he had to say earlier in a social media post that we seen when it came to the Carson Palmer situation years ago in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
it really is not much more different than that.
Yeah, and they traded Carson Palmer.
Well, Palmer fucking retired for a year or two before he came back. He was serious about it, and then he ended up going to the Raiders and not doing much there, and then had the same type of career renaissance as Kurt Warner did in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So
I could, Drew made the point earlier about how stupid Cincy is, and it is an extremely poorly run organization. They have no defense. They have no offensive line. They spent all their money on T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow.
So the thing is, they knew where they were at before they even went into the season and did nothing to help out along that offensive line.
No, nothing at
really
all.
Anywhere on the roster.
No.
They should have just let Higgins walk. Honestly, I know that we're not Cincinnati's the Bengals uncensored here, but they should have just let T. Higgins walk and then fix that offensive line for Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I love me some Burrow too, right now.
I do too. Burrow's been one of my favorite quarterbacks ever since he came out of, when he was still at LSU.
This is one of those things that's going to divide the purple and gold even more. It really is, because they're going to be bitching if we don't go out and get Joe Burrow.
Well, if you're Kwesi, you got to make the call. Just, I mean, you're doing your due diligence.
Right.
You should be doing that on a multitude of players. Anybody that, that there's any kind of rumor that, hey, that this guy might be available or something like that. You're not doing your job as a general manager if you're not making those calls.
I agree. Cool, Papa. But yes, I mean, if we're gonna reckless speculate, we might as fucking well. That wouldn't fucking show you. That would show you that you're all in on a fucking Super Bowl in Minnesota for one season. But I don't want. I want a Super Bowl, but I don't want just one. You know, I know they always say, "Well, just wait till you get your first. Wait till you get your first." I want to set us up for success year after year.
Well, and I agree with that, but I just want one to start with. Give me
Right.
that one, and then we'll worry about the rest of it later.
That's why you keep. That's exactly why you
You
do
know
what
that?
Cool Papa says here. You continue to develop the
Yeah.
guy that you brought
I
in.
mean, that's what the Rams did. They went all in. They went and got Matt Stafford, and they won a Super Bowl.
Yep, and now they're looking like the best team in the NFC right now.
Yeah, they were down for a couple years, but now they're right back up again.
I love me some Joe Burrow though. I really do. I mean, it really is it really makes me salivate at the thought of him even coming
Yeah.
here.
This is I made this point
Yes.
earlier too, Riley, when I was talking to somebody else, and it's yeah, if Kwesi is going to remain the general manager, does it really matter if we trade these picks for somebody proven like Joe Burrow?
Drew, I want to know your take on this in the comment section. What would you do? What would you do, Drew? And we'll pop that up here.
Yeah. In the meantime, while we're waiting for that, what would you give up for Joe Burrow if since
This
you
is
said
I would this is what I would offer. I would offer McCarthy, Grenard, and 2 firsts for Burrow. And if they say no to that, then I say okay.
yeah, I could
Because that gives you throw Jonathan Allen or Javon Hargrave in there too. Because then you're freeing up cap space as well. And if you're bringing in Burrow, you're going to have that cap space.
yeah. And you're giving
That just comes down to Burrow too. What kind of contract is he going to want? Is he going to be willing to?
well, he's still under contract for like another 4 years.
Right? Is he going to be willing to restructure his contract? That's exactly where we're at here. Cool. Exactly. We love us some Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, and the injury thing is something you got to consider too. I mean, Burrow has had a hard time staying healthy, but the year he was healthy, he took Cincinnati to the Super Bowl. I mean, as piss poorly run as Cincinnati is, they went to the Super Bowl.
In his second year as a quarterback.
Yeah, of
But
course
he's
he was.
been injury prone in and out outside of that
Yeah,
one special year.
he's missed significant time in like what 3 of the 5 years he's been there.
Yeah. He's only had 2 seasons where he played the whole all year. I know, and it's been this way. It's been this way all fucking from the beginning of the offseason this year, or since the end of last year, all the way through up until now. That McCarthy's had to been listening to all this shit. That's another thing that's on his plate.
Now I'm gonna put this out here, but
I want that redemption arc, Rhino.
the best way for McCarthy to quit hearing this kind of stuff is to go out and play like a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, I want that redemption arc. Exactly. Yes, you go out there and you fucking prove why you were taken so soon. And I'm beginning to believe that.
I gotta pull this up. McCarthy as your backup is a slap in the face. What right now? Right now, Ant. Why is it a slap in his face? He hasn't proven yet that he should be handed the job next year.
Right.
And this is coming from a major JJ McCarthy supporter.
Right. But I don't. If Burrow's coming in, you let McCarthy go. You had, I think, ship him in the package over to Cincy.
It probably would have to be part of the. No, Bob. No. Rodgers is 43 years old. If you watch any Cincinnati or any Pittsburgh games this year, he's not good anymore.
I agree, Drew.
Yep.
I think that's the route to go. As much as I love Burrow.
No, and I I agree with you on this, Norse, and I'm not saying to cut bait with McCarthy just because we need to cut bait with him. I'm just throwing out the hypothetical. If Joe Burrow would become available, would you do it? And B, what would you do to do it? I mean,
I agree, Norris. It's not,
yeah.
and I believe we're getting more of the McCarthy's going to look a hell of a lot better going into year 2 as a starter. I think. I think it's going to be more Drake May and less Bo Nix or Michael Penix. Bo Nix is this Denver team is winning in spite of his quarterback play.
Yeah.
And New England is winning because of their quarterback play. And I think it's going to be more so that way with JJ next year.
Yeah, Riley, you're right on there. I mean, but all due respect, Ant, I've seen you post a lot of stuff on Facebook that are kind of fits right into that whole thing there. But
I agree, and I think McCarthy ends the season off strong on a high note. I think he does,
and I hope he does because if he does, then a lot of this
and a lot of
random
that's going to come back
quarterback
to
talk
KOC
goes
too.
away. It goes.
A lot of that's going to come back to KOC.
Right, and that's the thing. It's it. Will he be able to continue to call the plays like this that he needs to call in order to get that progression out of JJ? Or is this going to be another Josh Dobbs thing where you run this kind of offense for a couple of weeks and then he's not going to be able to help himself and he's going to go back to
Angel Dust back in the house again. Dylan, that's a new name. Dotson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a very good point, and that was something I was going to bring up later on in the show here with if the Vikings can come out on Sunday Night Football in front of the entire league, and McCarthy can go out and have a solid game, and they walk out of Dallas with a win, that's going to go a long way to silencing a lot of this crap that's been going around all over the league all year long.
I think winning will go a long ways in just getting ready for next season too, and knowing that you're going out on a winning note. You're playing spoiler to a lot of these guys and seeding in the playoffs. So, and then like we said last week, just continuing to see development of McCarthy. It'd be nice that McCarthy could still flip, the touchdown to interception ratio on its head if he continues down the route that he's going. Continuing to throw 2+ touchdowns a week and keeping a clean game.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at 20 touchdowns to 10 interceptions or 11 or whatever it is.
Right now he's got 9 touchdowns and 10 interceptions.
Right, but you continue down the trajectory where you're throwing 2+ a game, and you got 4 games left.
Here, Riley put up a good trade scenario here. Trade the Bengals Kevin O'Connell, a first, and Grenard, and then
that is a dream scenario.
And then promote Flores.
I think your best bet, if you're going, I think KOC is safe. A lot of people are going to
KOC's not going anywhere this year.
No, they won't be until the earliest midseason next year if it continues down the ugly path that we've seen at times this season. But
Dylan's not okay. Not do we're too big of superstars. Yeah, that's us. We're very important around here.
Tough to remember all of your followers. Yeah.
We love all you guys, and thank you for coming every week.
We do. Yeah. You're the engine to the show. You're definitely the biggest reason why we're still plugging away. Malik Willis is a guy I want to target in free agency. Really? Right, with Malik Willis. That's surprising.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, he's running the LaFleur offense.
As a backup guy to make sure that we put
right,
that out.
Yeah, a guy to push McCarthy, not to come in to be the starter. But assuming, McCarthy is the guy going into next year, you still need to have a viable backup quarterback plan. We didn't have that this year. O'Connell got in over his skis thinking he could take, a second year guy who'd never started and back him up with a undrafted free agent rookie who had never started. But I think that Seattle game where Brosmer went out and completely shit the bed, I'm hoping that the light bulb come on for Kevin O'Connell there and they're like, oh, well, maybe we got to take my biggest concern is he doesn't have the patience to stick with it.
Right. Yep. Or just to get, and to me, it's an evolution as a play caller. Really,
Yeah.
it
Well,
really is for him.
and that's the thing. He talks about, or he wants to be Sean McVay. Well, McVay made big changes to his offense this year, and you don't see him out there pouting in his press conferences because he had to run something different than what he thinks is.
Back to
Yeah,
Drew here. Having that number 8 defense helps a lot.
it does big time. And Dallas's defense is awful.
I think somebody said they're the worst pass defense in the league right now.
Second
So,
worst.
so
Commanders are the worst. They're the second worst.
okay, well, either way, McCarthy should be licking his lips and his chops right now because it's setting him up for a good redemption arc. Like I said, I would love to see him blossom these last 4 weeks and get really excited about him coming into the next season.
Drew wants to know our thoughts on Flores. Will he be here next year? That
He will, as long as he wants to be. I think as long as he wants to be here, he'll be here.
Yeah, I hope he's here. I want him
He's
here.
definitely not the fall guy, that's for sure.
No, the only thing I can see is that if there's some sort of behind the scenes strife, but between him and
Which
O'Connell.
I've heard rumblings of as well, that there's that Flores is getting kind of sick of KOC too. So I mean, is there some friction there between Flores and KOC? I've heard a little bit of it here and there, but I mean, you don't see it. You don't see it. So
Yeah, because I don't know that he be what it is as it may. I don't know that Brian Flores gets a head coaching job until that lawsuit's done with.
I think if I'm Ziggy and Mark, I tell Flores, hey, if KOC doesn't right the ship next season, come mid-season, then we're gonna fire him and the job will be yours, and that's what keeps him around.
You can't do that though, because then you're going to have some undermining and stuff going. Because
I know. Yeah. I mean, it's every year you think Flores is going to get the head coaching job somewhere. The last 4 or 5 off seasons, and he just ends up being the coordinator again here in Minnesota. I think simply put, I think he's here next year unless he doesn't want to be. Like I said to start off the segment.
And honestly, if I'm the Wilfs, I probably, and if Kevin O'Connell was smart, they would. But here again, ego. You make Flores assistant head coach defense. Give him a little bit of a promotion and keep him around because and the thing of it is, okay, if Flores goes, who's your defensive coordinator next year? This team is now set up to run a 3-4, more of a 3-4 style. So it's not like you could just switch it back to a 4-3 again. If I've heard heard some names thrown around earlier this week. If it were to happen, Durante Jones, the secondary coach here, would be the in-house candidate who would probably continue to run it similar to a Flores defense, but does he have the mad scientist gene in him to be able to come up with this stuff like Flores does? That would be the question. I heard Brian Leonard, he's on Sean Payton's staff in Denver right now. Charlie Sheen is the next Michigan coach.
Winning. Yeah, I don't see Harry. I think I see Harry just drifting off into the sunset and having the you know I don't see him sticking around the game after
No,
he.
and I don't know right out really that broadcasting. I don't know if that's in his future or not. Um,
He seems somebody that likes the solitude to get
mhm.
away.
Yeah, and maybe someday he'd want to come and coach, but I think when he retires, which is most likely at the end of the year here, he's probably going to take at least a year off and just get away from it all. And if he's got that itch, yeah, then by all means come in and work as a defensive assistant or something like that. But um,
So we could get into the Dallas preview.
yeah, let's hit that. I mean, we kind of been talking about it already a little bit. Uh, Cowboys offense is no joke. They can put up points. They can put up a lot of yards. So the defense is going to have their uh, their hands full trying to slow that offense down. Can they do it? Yeah. I mean,
I think our defense has been hot and cold this year against the run. Especially against these backup guys. Last year we had a hell of a run defense. I think it's definitely possible. Maybe that's what we need to look at in the draft is getting a run stopping true nose tackle.
yeah. Well, I mean, we've been talking about that for 3 years. You need some big 330-pound guy that can you know plug up that middle. I mean, Redmond's having a great season,
Eric
but
Wilson needs to get re-signed. Redmond needs to be locked up long term.
yeah, I mean those are two guys right there that can be the cornerstone of this defense for the next 5 years. But well, for Wilson, not five probably, but next couple anyway.
I threw you off the rails there a little bit, Rhino, with that comment I brought up. But yeah, anyways, back to Dallas.
Yeah. The offense can put up points down there, and that's going to be, the their wide receivers against our cornerbacks. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's just exactly it. But then
that
again, we got
that's
to
the thing
just.
that's the thing that scares me the most is their wideouts against our
I
DBs.
think our pass rush has really is really creeping in on people fast coming towards the end of the season here. I think
Yeah,
the last 2 weeks we played, we've had pretty damn good pass rush. Especially, I mean, even in Seattle, as bad as that game was, that pass rush was fucking
yeah. We
fierce.
we sacked Darnold 4 times, and didn't we get the combination of Daniels and Mariota 4 or 5 times last week too?
Right. I mean, that pass rush has come up pretty damn quick
Yeah,
as the season has came along, and that's just it. If we can get after Dak, I like
yeah.
that too. Yeah,
Tracer, that this is exactly.
yeah. People don't understand that our pass defense is fourth in the league. It's that tackling after the catch is what's killing us right now.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, back to Tracer's point, if we can run the ball, which we should be able to do against Dallas, if we can run the ball like we did last week against the Commanders and take that, churn
30
the clock.
plus times.
I mean, because every time you have a 7 to 10 minute drive or whatever, I mean, what was it? Washington had the ball twice in the first half last week.
Well, and it's like I think we talked about it last week. Time of possession is a huge fucking factor
Yeah,
in the game.
the longer your offense is on the field, I mean, I feel kind of even dumb saying it, but the longer your offense is on the field, the shorter amount of time their offense is on the field, to try to score
Put
points
points
to
on the
go
board.
against you.
Right.
That's a very good tidbit, Drew. Thank you very much.
Yeah, like I said, this pass rush is coming alive. The last 2 weeks, especially.
Yeah. And it's, we got a Gink 6 last week. That we haven't seen one of them in a while. We've been close quite a few times, but
Ingram Dawkins. People forget that a lot of these young players are developing along the way this season, and now it's getting they're getting those reps in, and towards the end of the year, a lot of these guys that weren't getting those reps last season are the rookies that came in this year, and Ingram Dawkins. they're getting their reps, and the pass rush is really starting to show it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Bob, do we get a comp pick for Jones? I think we still do. I don't know how this season-ending injury that he got affects that, but
I want to see some more Elijah Williams and see what we got in him. I'd like to
yeah,
see him get some
he
snaps.
hasn't been active that much, but and I do have to give before we get any further, give a little credit again. Last week, Javon Hargrave showed up. We called him
Yeah,
out again, and he showed up. So I'm going to call him out again right now. You better show up on Sunday night and get after. And if the thing with Dak is, if even as long as he's been in the league, he's still at one of those guys that if you start roughing him up, he'll make mistakes. He'll throw interceptions.
it's. I think we should have a field day against this Dallas defense, to be
We
honest.
should.
And if we could just play, which we've done all season, play a pretty stellar defense, we should win this game on Sunday night.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Eliminate the, we'll kind of roll this into our keys for the game here. That's
Shutting
going to be
down
the thing.
CD Lamb and George Pickens for sure.
Yep. Pickens has had a really good year.
Yeah.
Now Lamb was in concussion protocol. I think he cleared.
Okay. Who do you got covering who then at corner? Do you put Rodgers on Lamb, or do you put Rodgers on Pickens, and then have Murph go with Lamb?
I don't know. I mean, I think you might have to play a little bit of zone on some of those guys. Just I don't know that you match them up 1-on-1, but and that's where the problem lies. And you got those guys like that that's why they're averaging 30 points a game. Last week Pickens was starting to crack. I didn't watch a couple or much of that last week, I guess, but Dallas D line worried about Quinton Williams, Kenny Clark, Oduzier, yeah.
I mean, Kenny Clark hasn't done much. No, I say this now and watch him go and have the best game of his
Kenny Clark has always given us fits.
But he's also gotten older and he hasn't done much this year. Now I say that now and then watch him go out and have the game of the season for the Cowboys this year. But he hasn't done much this year.
I never heard the official reason for that, Riley, and I looked for it the other day and I couldn't find anything as to why. But so I don't know if it was just a personnel kind of thing or what it was, but yeah, it was. I didn't even realize it until they mentioned it, I think somebody actually mentioned it after the game, but Dallas inside defensive line isn't. Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Drew. So, those guys up front are going to have to do their job, and Darisaw is questionable again this week. So, if Darisaw can't go, that's concerning because then you're going to have to put School out there, and I don't ever want to see School on the field again.
No, honestly. He's been one of the worst off-season pickups this year.
Yeah, I don't know what they saw in this guy that they thought it was going to be such a great.
Just kept Questenberry because at least Questenberry has a steady hand.
Mm-hmm. And a lot better off than I mean, School is steady, but he's steadily crap. That's the problem.
Right. He played better on the right side too, by the way.
He did, yeah. But they'll put him out there at left tackle if Darisaw doesn't go.
And to this, Drew, I mean, last week was our second game with the entire starting offensive unit playing a game, and our interior. I'm much more comfortable with the interior offensive line this season compared to all of last season. So I hope they can handle it. We handled Cleveland's defensive line fairly well, I think, and we handled Detroit's defensive line fairly well. So I would imagine that we should be able to play against Dallas's fairly well as well.
Yeah. Kicking Donovan Jackson out to left tackle and putting Brandel in at guard.
I prefer that over school going out there.
I
Honestly.
prefer it over school. I prefer putting Brandel out at left tackle over school.
Yeah, there you go. He's been because you got that
He's
NFL
got the
experience.
experience. I mean, Donovan Jackson did it last year in college. I mean, that's
exactly why you love having a player like Brandel on your roster because you can put him and you get at least above average play at any position you throw him at. Average to above average play. Now, I think he's found his calling at center. I truly do.
I do. Yeah, I would
With
tend to
Brandel.
agree with you.
I think Brandel's our starting center next season.
He's gonna. He should get the opportunity to compete for it at the very least.
Right.
But yeah, Hooker and Trayvon Diggs both gone. Yeah, you got it. But the thing of it is, you're going to have to get it out quick. And this it should.
Kevin O'Connell's got a boner right now. Just talking about.
Well, and that was going to be my point. I was going to make here. That would normally be a thing that you should be attacking, and it just popped in my mind when you said that. It's oh shit, Kevin O'Connell's going to sit there and try to dial up all these freaking fly routes and stuff, and we're going to end up in the same freaking problem.
You don't want to be too aggressive to where it is a detriment to your offense.
No, you run you dictate the game. Don't
take
let
what the defense is giving you. Take what the defense is showing to give you throughout the night, and then you run with it.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter who you got back in the secondary if you can't keep the pocket clean long enough for the quarterback to get it out of there. So,
the Nas Reed of Vikings football, Brandel. Yes.
There you go. Anyway, what else do you got for keys to the game here, Lance?
Yeah, just stopping the pass on defense and establishing the run game on offense, because that to that point is play action is JJ's bread and butter. If you can get that play action going, then it's going to be good.
Yeah. And that's the thing that O'Connell fails to realize, I think, a lot of the times, is play action doesn't work if you don't run the ball. You have to at least give the illusion that you are going to run it, because if not, then it's just a drop back, and then you're basically, going into an air raid type offense where it's just drop back and chuck it as deep as you freaking can. But
keep giving the ball to Jordan Mason. I still don't think we've been giving him the ball enough. As much I love and respect Aaron Jones, but Mason should be getting the bulk of the carries.
Yeah, and Aaron Jones has been playing well, especially since he's been, he's still dealing with that soldier.
I'll give him that too, but Mason has been just that much better, I believe.
Yeah. Now Aaron Jones is better in the pass game than Mason is, but
right.
So, but put them both out there at the same time.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times this season, but not enough.
No.
So.
Yeah, but for me, I want to see another clean game out of McCarthy. No turnovers, and build off of what you did last week. You should be able to have a similar game. Like we talk about with their defense.
Find yourself in these last 4 weeks.
Yep.
Find what your identity is in these last 4 weeks and build off of it in the offseason and continue going. That leads you somewhere into next year.
Yeah, plant your flag, and say, I deserve to, have this job next year.
And this is what people should be excited about. We have the chance to fuck up a lot of teams' season these last 4 weeks.
Yeah, and that's even if we don't make the playoffs, which I'm not. I have no hope in the playoffs, mainly because too many other things have to happen. But if we can't make the playoffs, if we can at least screw a bunch of other teams' playoff chances up, I'm all for that. Especially with the slate of teams that we have to play.
Off of that, and then getting joy out of potentially beating your division rivals the last 2 games of the season. Yes, find your identity in these last 4 weeks to build on going into next year, so you know what you are and kind of what you want to run as well.
Yep. And that Christmas Day game against Detroit, we beat Detroit. That might knock them out of the playoffs.
Exactly. It could be a fun end of the season, but we just gotta right now understand that you know what the playoffs are not going to happen.
No, and that's it. That's my thought on this is I'm not expecting playoffs. If for some way, shape, or form the miracle happens and everything falls right and they do get in, awesome.
Yeah, right. Then you get excited. Yeah,
right. But I just I want to go out and win these last 4 games because and I see people. Oh, we need to lose for draft positioning and everything else. We can't. We can only maybe move up like 1 spot, maybe 2 spots.
And we're not going to fall very far.
And we can't fall more than a spot or 2 because the team right behind us is Miami, and they've won like 5 straight or whatever it is. So we've got a bit of a cushion. So we should stay in that 10 to 12 range regardless of how the season finishes out.
To maneuver our way in and up and down the board, I think, too.
Mm-hmm.
Which we've been known to do in previous drafts under Quessy. So,
but again, we'll deal with that when it comes around. We don't want to speculate on all this stuff because we don't know what free agency is going to bring. We don't know what the draft process. We don't even know who all is declaring and who's not yet.
Right.
So this is exactly right, Drew, and that was the point I was trying to make. Is I want McCarthy to go out there and do his thing, show the improvement. To say that, yeah, I'm probably going to have to compete for it next year, but I should be the favorite for the quarterback job for 2026.
And then seeing what you got in these other young bucks too, I believe. Some of the depth guys that you're gonna.
Yeah, well, like you said, with we had a Ty Felton sighting last week. We need to have a little bit more of that again this week.
Right.
Get Ingram Dawkins out there. Get Elijah Williams out there. Get some of these young kids out there that. I still.
Nudie. I want to see some Nudie out there playing.
Yeah, I still want to see some Miles Price on offense. A couple,
Yes. Yes.
So,
absolutely.
Make the most of the
playoffs. Let's have some fun with it. Let's go out and just play football and have fun.
Hang loose and play fun.
Yes.
Have fun out there, and sometimes good things happen when you can do that. So
right. End the season on a high note.
Yep.
Anyways,
but with that, let's roll into our prediction segment, where, of course, we not only predict the Vikings game for this weekend, we also predict the games of our rivals in the NFC North. One early game this week is all we've got, and that is the Browns going to Soldier Field to face the Bears.
Shadir had a hell of a good week last week, huh?
He threw for well over 300 yards and
like 3 touchdowns.
3 tugs, I think, yeah.
And a rushing touchdown, yeah. Not a big Shadur human being fan, but I think he can play quarterback in this league, and he looked like he proved it pretty well last week.
Again, very small sample size, but
yes, that's just it too. But anyways, I'm a Shadur Sanders fan this week, and hoping the Browns can upset the Bears.
Yeah, well,
just like Drew says here, yeah, the Browns most likely won't. But the Browns, they got a pretty good defense there.
The Browns beat the Packers earlier this year, so
right, there's that too.
I mean, I think the Bears are going to win this game, but I want the Browns to win it, obvious reasons, but I'll pick Chicago just because I have no faith in the Browns. But
right, and Chicago is hot right now. I mean, Chicago is probably going to win this game. That should be my pick, but I'm just going to pick the Browns in spite of it all.
Yeah. And for those talking playoffs, if the Bears beat the Browns this weekend, that officially eliminates the Vikings. So if you're still holding out hope for the Vikings to make the playoffs, then you do absolutely want the Browns to win versus the Bears. But I'll take the Bears I think it's going to be fairly close because Myles Garrett might get the sack record this weekend. Because I think he's sitting at 20 right now?
Yeah. He's got quite a few, so we'll see. But yeah, like I said, the Bears are probably going to win. I'm going Browns. Rhino, you're going.
I'll take Bears. because I like what Ben Johnson's doing over there.
I do
But
too. I do too.
all right, then everything else is later games. So the next one on the line is Detroit at the Rams, 3:25 start.
I think the Rams are taking this one. I think Stafford's due for his win over Detroit. I don't think he's got one yet. So I'm going to go Rams. I know Stafford's going to want this one too.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Yeah,
bad.
and Detroit's
And
deep.
he might win MVP this year.
He's right in that conversation, right? Between him and
I've
Drake May right
always,
now, I think.
even when he played for Detroit, I've
No,
always
I've always
Matthew
liked Stafford as a player.
Hell of a quarterback going to his time at Georgia. He was
Mm-hmm.
a hell of a he's always been a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah. The Lions' defense is not in great shape right now. I mean, they got a lot of guys out. I heard something today that Kirby Joseph, I think, had a setback, so he might end up going on IR, so he probably won't be back. So let's all do the collective. Aw.
Aww.
Again, I don't.
Granted, they played good last week. Detroit did enough to win the game. So
Yeah. Hey, Drew, appreciate the kudos and thank you for joining us as you always do and bringing all the great discussion points, questions, and all the good topics. But yeah, back to the game. The Rams are the
Sean
better.
McVay's got that Rams team playing with a purpose.
Yeah, I mean they did lose to the Carolina Panthers.
That Panthers team
the Panthers team is sneaky.
And they're fighting for the last playoff spot.
Well, no, they're right now. They're at after Tampa Bay lost last night. Carolina's leading that division.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, Carolina's been sneaking up on teams all year. They've been sneaking up on teams all year this year.
Yep.
That defense over in Carolina's top shelf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm going to pick the Rams in this one.
Yeah, I'm going Rams too.
Okay. Then the other 3:25 game, Green Bay going to Mile High City to take on the Broncos.
That Broncos defense is probably the best in the league. Pretty damn close.
They're very solid.
Bo Nix has had a horrible season, and I don't know how they're winning games over there. I hate Sean Payton.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good game, though. This is a good matchup.
I mean, Green Bay's defense is no joke. I mean,
that pass rush is pretty deadly.
Yeah, Micah Parsons has made a difference over there, and
yes.
But
do I think they're going to go very far in the playoffs? No, I think they're going to be one and done. Denver easily. I don't know. Yeah,
I wouldn't say easily.
I'll go Denver.
Yeah, I still don't trust Green Bay against good teams.
Broncos are winning 3-0.
So, and because it's Green Bay, I'll pick.
You're picking Green Bay?
No, I can't. Picking Sean Payton angers me even more than picking Green Bay, I think. But I mean, right now, Green Bay is probably going to win the division. So, I mean, if they win, it's not going to hurt us any. But
I don't know. I think Chicago has a good shot at winning the division too.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know, but I'll go Denver. I guess could go either way on it, but team meteor on this one. But and then that leads us to the penultimate game of the week as the Vikings go to Dallas to play the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football.
I think we're going to win. I think the wind has really caught underneath McCarthy's sails. He had a hell of a game, his best game as a pro last week. As far as stats go, I think he played a hell of a game against Detroit too earlier in the season. But as far as all-around play goes, last week was his best game. And let's just hope he continues to build off of his best game. Let's see him get another 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Let's see him play another clean game. I think it's possible.
Oh,
I'm
it's
going
absolutely
Vikings.
possible.
I'm going Vikings this week, and that defense continues to dominate. All in all phases. So,
Yeah. I mean, for me, with this game, it's all going to boil down to what's Kevin O'Connell going to do? Is he going to continue what he did last week and call the correct game plan for JJ McCarthy? Or is he going to go back and fall back on the game plan that he wants to call?
right.
And
Because he
and
knows.
and if he reverts back to what he wants to call instead of what he should call, then I'm going to start ratcheting up that maybe he might not be the right guy for the fucking job.
Right.
So
He needs to start calling to his players' strengths and not to what he thinks is best for the team.
yeah, I
So
mean,
just let his
every
players
time
go out
every
there and
time
play.
I've called the Vikings out and told them and said that they have to show me something, they've responded that week, and then the following week, and then I go out and I say, get amped up about it, and then they go shit the bed the following week. But you still got to show me something again this week. You got to show me that you can continue. I have full faith in the team. I don't have full faith in Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, this is that chance for Kevin O'Connell to string together his 5-game winning streak.
Yep. And
to end the season.
And I just hope that he's smart enough to realize that nobody's going to care if you're not calling your game plan.
Right. If there's not all those explosives that you want all
No.
the time.
What they care about is if we win the game or not. And that should be what he cares about. Because in the end, it's the wins and losses that's either going to let you keep this job or it's going to have you looking for another job. So
I don't agree with that, Ant. I believe people can change and for the better. If he could change some of his philosophies, then I am all for it. But
all he's got to do, and I know it's easier said than done, but all he's got to do is put that ego aside and start doing what's best for the team, not what's best for what he perceives is best for himself.
Right there, you worded it better than I would have. So yes,
yeah. But Vikings got to show me that they can string this together and continue to do that. Josh, absolutely, style points don't matter. I would rather go out there and win ugly every freaking week than put up 40 points and lose 44 to 50.
I'd rather just go out and dominate everybody every week.
Well, yeah, I would too, but at the end of the day,
a win's a win.
Yeah, as Drew always used to say, a win's a win, even if it's hanging off the ass of a cow, or however they used to say it over on Vikings Report. But got to show me something, but I'll pick them this week too.
All right, 15 minutes over.
Yep. So with that, again, running a little bit late tonight, but apologize for the technical difficulties. But thank you guys all for joining us and sticking with us and riding things out here. Great comments, great discussion points in the chat, as always. That's why we do these lives. Pretty is not practical. Please just ask my wife. Yeah, KOC tree to be a thing. The KOC tree is not a thing. He's part of he's just a branch on the McVeigh tree. And
right.
And what he's got to realize is the best way to keep that going is to evolve and to change and to do what's
separate
best.
yourself, make yourself different.
Right.
Become better.
You're not Sean McVay, no matter how much you try to be Sean McVay. Go out there and be the best Kevin O'Connell you can be for the situation that you are in.
Well, they say your team is what your offensive or what your head coach is, and right now our head coach doesn't have an identity.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's just a problem. So with that, again, thank you guys so much for joining us as always, and why don't you take us home, Brunswick?
Thanks again, guys, for showing up tonight. You guys are the reason why we're still here. I love seeing you all every week. Let's go out and end this season on a high note with the next 4 weeks, 4 games that we got lined up. and continue to cheer on the purple and gold. With that being said, Aubrey and Millie, if you're out there watching this at any point, Dad loves and misses you. Skull.
Have a great weekend, everybody.